In at number 8, Lalaine Vergara. Lalaine is best known for her role as Miranda Sanchez on Lizzie McGuire, and after she tried to pursue a music career, she sort of fell into obscurity. She had filmed with the show from 2001 to 2004, but by 2007, people started to find out who she really is. In July of 2007, Lalaine was arrested and charged with felony possession of methamphetamines. She pleaded guilty to the charge, and a $50,000 bench warrant was set after she had failed to appear in court for her hearings. And according to Lalaine, she had some serious beef with her fellow actors as she was the only one deemed to be too ethnic. They actually told her to look as white as possible, which undoubtedly caused some tension between her and everyone else on the show. When a Lizzie McGuire reboot was in the works, they confirmed every character returning, but Lalaine was left out of the conversation.
Sliding into spot number 7 is Selena Gomez. The Wizards of Waverly Place star left her Disney days behind and had no problem explaining to her fans why. It was a pretty simple explanation and was the classic case of feeling the pressure to live up to that innocent Disney image. She told the New York Times, "I was being held to this expectation of being the good girl. I knew deep down that this wasn't what I wanted to do, being exhausted of forcing something that wasn't right." According to Refinery 29, she decided to break away from Disney and actually signed a new contract with Interscope instead. At that point, she allegedly let go of her mother acting as her manager and also had split up with her then boyfriend, Justin Bieber. This was a very big moment in her career, and that is when she released her album, Revival. Once the album was out, she admitted it was the first time that she could breathe and no longer felt like she had to maintain the Disney guidelines. No one really realized just how bad her time with Disney was, and fans were shocked to hear her admit that it actually made her depressed and put her in a really low spot in her life.
In at number 6, Zac Efron. Zac Efron first rose to prominence when he landed the lead role of Troy Bolton in Disney's High School Musical. From there, he basically became a teen heartthrob and at the center of attention in Hollywood. Zac told The Hollywood Reporter that he started drinking a lot and got deeply involved with hard drugs. His excuse was that he was in his 20s, single, and going through life in Hollywood, and everything felt like it was just being thrown at him. Apparently, while filming the movie Neighbors with Seth Rogen, his drug habits started to spiral out of control. They even needed to halt filming while he checked himself into rehab for a cocaine addiction. And then on top of that, his reckless behavior extended further than just his substance abuse behind the scenes. According to TMZ, Zac got himself into a violent altercation with a homeless man on Skid Row in Los Angeles, which resulted in him getting punched in the mouth right before the police finally separated them. A source told TMZ that Zac was obviously intoxicated and willingly engaged in mutual combat with this homeless guy. Yeah, that's not stable behavior for an actor that you want to work with. Definitely not for Disney. In at number 5, Lindsay Lohan. Lohan debuted in Disney's 1998 family comedy The Parent Trap, a remake of the original. She also starred in 2 Disney television movies called Life Size, opposite Tyra Banks in 2000, and Get a Clue in 2002. Lohan had been arrested a number of times, including her infamous drug-fueled car chase through Santa Monica back in 2007. 3 men said an intoxicated Lindsay hijacked a car in which they were passengers, blew through red lights, and eventually ended up at the police department where she was arrested for a DUI. This was also her second DUI bust in less than 90 days. Cops also said that they found cocaine on her, and she quickly went from being the next big thing in Hollywood to one of the most hated. In at number 4, JT Austin. Beginning his career as a child actor at the age of 7, Austin is a 5-time Young Artist Award nominee, 2-time Teen Choice Award nominee, and Nickelodeon Kids' Choice Award nominee. He's best known though for his role as Max Russo on the Disney Channel series Wizards of Waverly Place. Dick attributes a lot of his bad behavior to the tough transition of moving from child actor to an evolved adult star. While at the Teen Choice Awards, apparently Austin threw a giant temper tantrum backstage after a staff member didn't recognize him. According to TMZ and multiple eyewitness accounts, he became infuriated by this and started throwing empty shoeboxes at a female staff member. But then he said this next year.
This has been the summer of kick-ass women.
In at number 2, Jake Paul. Jake is far from his Disney acting days now, but according to reports, he wasn't the easiest person to work with. Aside from Vine, he really rose to prominence for playing the role of Dork Man on the Disney Channel series Berserk. Although Jake was unceremoniously dropped from the show before the start of the 2nd season, and his exit was listed as effective immediately. Paul had been making local headlines in Los Angeles after complaints that he had been getting from his neighbors over alleged partying and pranks at his West Hollywood rental house. He was then featured in a KTLA news report after he started climbing up on her news van during a live broadcast.
Can we do it by the truck?
Yeah.
In a minute. Yeah.
Let's go by the truck.
Whoa,
I wouldn't crawl up there.
Why?
Okay, I just wouldn't do that.
I want to do the interview here.
Yeah, can't do that.
A spokesperson from the Disney Channel refused to comment as to why they dropped him, but explained that it was a mutual departure and that they wished him all the best. probably had a lot to do with those news segments. I'm gonna go with the news segments. Last but certainly not least, in our number one spot, Miley Cyrus. Arguably one of the most successful child stars of her generation, Miley has had a rise and fall like nobody else. She became a teen idol as the title character of the Disney Channel television series Hannah Montana, which ultimately led to her becoming a very successful recording artist as well. Although all of that fame and being the daughter of a rock star aren't necessarily great for one's ego. She started to perform as both Hannah Montana and herself, which really did a number on her psyche and led to her becoming sort of a double diva. In her book titled Miles to Go, Miley reflected on her time working with co-star Emily Osment on the show and said that when the camera stopped rolling, they didn't really get along. Miley writes, "The show felt real to me and I wanted my relationship with Lily to feel real too. I knew it didn't have to, show business is show business, but I was disappointed. There were times when I didn't think we could ever be friends. We just couldn't figure out how to get along." Probably because you're a diva. Just guessing. In at number 10, Debbie Ryan. Debbie Ryan is an American actress and singer, and she started acting in professional theaters at the age of 7 and was later discovered in a nationwide search by the Disney Channel. From 2011 to 2015, Ryan starred as the title character on the Disney Channel television series called Jessie and appeared in the 2012 television film Radio Rebel. In April of 2016, Ryan was arrested for driving under the influence. Initially, she was charged with felony DUI, but it was later reduced to 2 misdemeanors. She was released after posting $100,000 bail. Apparently, she slammed her Audi into a Mercedes, and when the cops came, they gave the then 22-year-old actress a field sobriety test and promptly arrested her. Debbie did get a break though. Authorities decided, as I said, to bump it down to a misdemeanor because the injury was minor and she only blew a .11, not that much over the .08 legal limit. There was also rumors that she would bully her co-stars while on set, which didn't exactly give her a good reputation with fans of the show. In at number 9, David Henrie. David Henrie is an American actor and director, and he's mostly known for playing Ted Mosby's future son Luke on How I Met Your Mother and Justin Russo in Wizards of Waverly Place. He also has starred in the films Little Boy and Walt Before Mickey. While he was at the Universal City Walk back in 2010, David was detained by police for disturbing the peace. Witnesses said that the actor challenged a person to fight, but not too long after, he was later released to his father. According to Variety, though, he was arrested again in 2018. Variety confirmed with an LAX public information officer that Henrie was arrested at LAX after a TSA officer went through his bag and found a firearm. Following the incident, David apologized in a statement on Twitter, saying that he unintentionally brought his gun, which he legally owns and is registered to his name, but fans, however, could no longer look at him the same way, and because of these multiple incidents with the police, his image was certainly tarnished. In at number 8, Anneliese van der Pol. Best known for her role as Chelsea Daniels in That's So Raven, Anneliese went on to star in the Bratz movie the same year that Raven ended. Anneliese pleaded no contest to 2 misdemeanors, driving under the influence and driving with a blood alcohol level above .08, and the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office prosecuted the case. The court offered Miss van der Pol 36 months probation and a penalty of $2,844 in fines and assessments. Anneliese posted this photo to her Facebook page, saying that she was blocking out all of the negativity and hate. So you know her fans must have really been turning on her after all of these poor decisions. Plus, the first episode of Raven's Home aired at the start of 2017, so perhaps it didn't get the type of response that she was hoping for. In at number 7, Demi Lovato. Demi Lovato had been a Disney kid for a long time. She appeared on Barney and Friends from 2002 to 2004. However, between 2007 to 2008, Lovato played Charlotte Adams on the Disney Channel short series As the Bell Rings. She then auditioned for the channel's television film Camp Rock and new TV series Sunny with a Chance, for which she landed both roles. Now, to Demi's defense, she was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and struggled a lot with finding body confidence. So needless to say, she could be a bit of a nightmare on set, but it was primarily due to the pressures of maintaining this presence while on top after all of this early success with Disney. During an interview with Refinery 29, Demi said, "Prior to getting sober, I was one of those people who was like, I don't give a whatever. And I used that as an excuse to do whatever I wanted. I was a nightmare to work with." Well, at least she admits it herself. In at number 6, Shia LaBeouf. Even Steven star Shia LaBeouf was loved by many, and he even received a Young Artist Award nomination in 2001 and won a Daytime Emmy Award in 2003 for the show. Although Shia LaBeouf's career would soon take a tumultuous turn. In 2017 alone, the actor was sued for $5 million by a bartender, he was arrested in Savannah, Georgia for public intoxication, and he was ordered to attend a 10-week rehab program. He was also arrested in Austin, Texas, and witnesses say that the actor was blitzed, out of control, and disobeyed the police. Shia was taken to the Travis County Jail and booked for misdemeanor public intoxication, and Shia, who's been to rehab, has also been dogged by substance abuse problems for a long time. While he has delivered some terrific performances in his latest projects, Disney fans can't stand his level of defiance.
Halfway through our list at number 5 is Rowan Blanchard. She gained a massive fan base from her time on the newer Disney show Girl Meets World. Fans were crushed when the series was canceled after their ratings dropped. Forbes reported that the show lost around 3.6 million viewers between season 1 and season 3. But the one thing that people always loved was Rowan and the fact that she prompted the idea of intersectional feminism. Despite her young age, she rallied for the Me Too movement and openly discussed her sexuality. She made a conscious decision back in 2017 to part ways with Disney following the cancellation of the show. She did an interview with W Magazine and said she left because she felt controlled by them. But she didn't exactly say the name Disney Network, probably to protect herself, but people could piece it together. She said, "I worked for a corporation for 4 years that is known for silencing and crafting your voice. So with that, I just had to very much stand my ground and separate myself, which I think I did." She now says that she loves that she's not recognized anymore for her Disney character, but she's now recognized for her activism.
In at number 4, Adam Hicks. His first leading role was in the movie How to Eat Fried Worms, and he was also known for playing Luther in the Disney XD series called Zeke and Luther. The Disney star was arrested after allegedly committing 4 or 5 armed robberies in the San Fernando Valley. Sources say that Hicks and his girlfriend would go up to people that were walking, stick a gun in their face, and demand money, cell phones, and other items. A neighbor originally told the police that they witnessed the alleged assault, but when the police followed up, they became uncooperative. His girlfriend also refused to cooperate with the case as well. However, the cops are still saying that Hicks, who is currently starring on Hulu's Freakish, and girlfriend, who is also an actor, robbed 4 people at some point in the early morning. In a surveillance video, a man who is believed to be Hicks approaches a man walking on the street. The suspect has a gun tucked under his arm. Yeah, I don't think anyone's watching Zeke and Luther ever again after that. In at number 3, Ashley Tisdale. During her childhood, Tisdale was featured in over 100 advertisements and had minor roles in television and theater. She also achieved mainstream success as Maddie Fitzpatrick in the Disney Channel series The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody. Her success was heightened even further when she starred as Sharpay Evans in the High School Musical film series from 2006 to 2008. Tisdale even admitted herself that she was very difficult to work with during her time on High School Musical. During a chat with Andy Cohen, she said that her and Lucas, who played her on-screen brother, didn't get along at first. She told the host that they didn't get along at first because when they were screen testing, she was only giving him just like regular line readings, so not really being in the character. Then when he asked her to, method act to get themselves into character, she noticed that her attitude was creeping a little too closely to that of her character Sharpay. She went on to say, "I do think I became a lot like the character, and I think he thought I was really like Sharpay, and it wasn't until we wrapped that he was like, oh, you're not that person." Or is she? In at number 2, Orlando Brown. That's how Raven star Orlando Brown smiled for a mugshot after a family dispute led to cops showing up at the star's apartment. Cops then checked their system and arrested him for an active warrant popping up. Best known for his role as Eddie Thomas on That's So Raven, it became evident that fans were no longer on his side when Disney reprised the show under its new name, Raven's Home. While Raven Symone and Annalise Vanderpool came back, Orlando was noticeably missing from the reunion. The main reason why they couldn't have him back was due to his very non-Disney-like behavior. Brown made headlines after he was arrested for public intoxication and disturbing the peace after he threatened to kill a woman. And no more fans for you. Last but certainly not least, at our number 1 spot, Vanessa Hudgens. Vanessa Hudgens has had some major issues with her fans after departing from her once innocent Disney image. Her fans loved her in High School Musical, but when she started doing films like Spring Breakers, it seemed like she was trying too hard to break that image. When the lockdown started happening, she got herself into some even more trouble while doing some Instagram live streams with her fans. Her fans were asking about how she felt about the quarantine, and Hudgens just said this.
I'm like, even if everybody gets it, like, yeah, people are gonna die. It's just terrible, but like, inevitable? I don't know.
At that point in time, no one really had any idea when these lockdowns would be lifted, and you could clearly tell that she was annoyed by the inconvenience of needing to lock down to protect the sick and vulnerable, but this kind of selfish behavior was frowned upon by many, including whatever fans she had left.
Coming up next, number 9 is Joe Jonas. He was just one of the brothers from the boy band The Jonas Brothers, but he took on the lead role in the Disney movies Camp Rock. In recent years, Joe wrote a piece for Vulture, which highlighted his time at Disney. In the piece, he revealed that he and his brothers always had to sugarcoat their music and lives to maintain their innocent Disney persona. He said their lyrics actually had to be reviewed and approved by the Disney team, and if anything was too sexual or provoking, then they were told to change it. That was actually one of the main reasons that they decided to quit. He also said that Disney controlled their creativity too much, and he started to feel like one of their puppets. For any young child star wanting a music career outside of Disney, this would have been a good warning for them. Outside of the personality image that they had to maintain, he also hated the fact that he had to shave every single day to play a role that was much younger than he was in real life. That would suck as a man. Moving on to number 8, we have Hilary Duff. There have been a lot of conflicting stories about what exactly led to her decision to leave Disney and her lead role as Lizzie McGuire. But fans got some kind of confirmation back in 2003 when her mom did an interview with Entertainment Weekly and claimed it had to do with her paycheck. Susan Duff claimed that Disney was trying to bully her daughter into accepting whatever offer they wanted to make for a sequel to the Lizzie McGuire movie. Her mom said that Hilary ended up walking away from the sequel, but then Disney walked away from the whole franchise. Hilary also spoke about it and said that it really had an effect on her mental health, which is why she chose to bow out for a while. She said, "I was just making records and touring and making movies and then doing it all over again. By the end of it, I was like, I'm done. I don't enjoy this anymore. I'm not who I want to be." So I guess Disney is not paying their stars enough is what I am starting to realize. Rolling into number 6 is Dylan and Cole Sprouse. The twins took over the Disney Channel with their hit show The Sweet Life of Zach and Cody, and then The Sweet Life on Deck. From the outside looking in, it seemed like they had the world in their hands. But they suddenly left the Disney network behind, and fans were shocked to learn their show would not continue. The boys have opened up about what happened and said they tried to pitch a spin-off idea to the Disney team, but they shut it down. Dylan explained and said, "When we had pitched our idea, it was kind of the situation where they had almost laughed in our faces." He then said Disney came back to them a year later with an idea that was essentially the same thing as their original pitch. That is when he said he and his brother Cole basically laughed in their face and walked out. That was the last meeting they ever had with Disney, and despite having years-long relationship with them, things ended up leaving on a very icy note. They have no problem warning others that Disney might steal your ideas. So keep them to yourself.
In at number 5, Shia LaBeouf. Most people will recognize Shia LaBeouf from his time with the Transformers franchise, but I'll always know him as just Louis Stevens in the Disney Channel series Even Stevens, a role for which he received a Young Artist Award nomination in 2001 and won a Daytime Emmy Award in 2003. Although Shia LaBeouf's career would soon take a tumultuous turn. In 2017 alone, the actor was sued for $5 million by a bartender. He was arrested in Savannah, Georgia for public intoxication, and he was ordered to attend a 10-week rehab program. Although Shia has done his best to shed all these rumors surrounding him about being difficult to work with. I mean, while working on the set of Fury, he received a ton of praise from his fellow actors. Brad Pitt even paid him a huge compliment during his interview with GQ magazine. Brad told the magazine, "Oh, I love this boy. He's one of the best actors I've ever seen. He's full-on commitment, man. He's living it like no one else. Let me tell you, I've been fortunate enough to work with a lot of great actors, and he's one of the best I've ever seen." I wish I could have done that in a Brad Pitt voice. We'll get there.
In spot number 4 is Raven Symone. Fans were devastated when Raven left Disney for a while after her TV series That's So Raven became a massive success. But she shocked everyone when she signed on to do a spin-off of the original show called Raven's Home at 33 years old. Fans really didn't believe that she would work with Disney ever again, thinking that there was bad blood between them, but turns out there wasn't. Kind of. She did admit to feeling the pressure of having to try and fit the mold of Raven from the show, and not who she was in real life, which is also Raven. When she came out in 2016, she revealed that Disney was always very accepting of her and her sexuality, but that people involved in the network weren't. She explained that during the last season of That's So Raven, she wore jeans and a vest and tie, and one of the members went up to her mom and said, "She looks too much like a lesbian. Can you tell her to put on a skirt and makeup? Because then they'll accept her and come to her concert." As we know from other examples on this list, fitting the Disney look can add a lot of pressure to someone, especially someone who felt like they couldn't really express who they really were. Luckily, Disney has been more supportive and inclusive with the LGBTQ community since her original show. In our number 1 spot is Bella Thorne. This story of Bella has become famous ever since she shared it with her fans. She found fame as a young child on the Disney TV series Shake It Up, but it was cancelled in 2013 despite being the number 1 series in 2 demographics. People thought she was going to stay with Disney and move on to her next project, but it seemed like she was fed up with taking orders from them. After leaving the network, Bella revealed that one time they threatened to fire her after she posted a photo of herself wearing a black bikini. They ended up telling her mom that they cannot afford to fire her at that point, but if she does anything like that again, they will. The worst part about the whole thing was that Bella's mom was the one who bought her that bikini. Once this story came to surface, Bella opened up more about her Disney experience and said she was forced to talk with a higher voice so that she would appeal to Disney's demographic. Even off the show, like during interviews and press, she was asked to change her tone. For anyone who does not follow Bella, she naturally has a deeper voice. Long story short, Bella stopped tolerating the demands and went on to pursue a very different career. She's now acting full-time, putting out music, and is also running an OnlyFans company. No lie.